Greetings, friends, and welcome to another episode of Peace, Love, Food, Bliss. I am your host, John, aka Shakina Love, coming to you today with a video blog on the Essene Sevenfold Peace, Peace with the Mind. I did a video a while back on the Essene Sevenfold Peace practice of peace with the body, talking about cleansing and juicing and eating, whole plant-based foods and whatnot. And I wanted to continue with that series today and talk about making peace with the mind. So, as I'd mentioned in my previous video, the Essene Sevenfold Peace is broken down into 7 different aspects of peace. Number 1 being peace with the body. Number 2 being peace with the mind. Number 3 being peace with the family. Number 4 being peace with humanity. Number 5 being peace with culture. Number 6 being making peace with the earthly mother or with ecology. And number 7, making peace with the divine. So, that being said, today we'll talk more about peace with the mind. So, to get inspiration for the video today, I did a card reading with my new Ascended Master Oracle card deck by Doreen Virtue, and the reading kind of led me to want to continue with this series today. And before I do that, I just want to show you the cards, just to show you my inspiration for this topic today. So let me just flip the camera over here just to show you. Pay no attention to my mess. But here are my cards. You see I pulled the card for Listen, Crystals, and Follow Your Heart. So, anyways, which I feel like is a really good reading for today for many reasons. So, the first step, I believe, in creating peace with the mind is to have a meditation practice. Now, there are a lot of kinds of meditation out there, and, certainly I'm not going to tell people, well, I'll share with what works for me, and what works for me often is silent meditation. So, I've started a practice where every morning, and also every evening, preferably before bed, but whenever is convenient, I'll do a 20-minute silent meditation. So I just sit down, I set my phone timer for 20 minutes, and I just sit down with my back straight, or you could lie down. The important thing is you want to try and, if possible, keep your spine straight, aligned. If not, it's okay. You can still certainly meditate in any position. This just makes it a little bit easier, a little more comfortable. So, a lot of people talk about, like meditation and also and the subject of prayer, and just the reason why I bring it up is something that a quote that always sticks with me is that praying is talking to the divine, whereas meditation is listening. And that's why one of the reasons why I feel like this card is really good today on many levels, because listening doesn't just mean listening to other people in your life. It also means listening to your intuition. If you are more spiritually inclined, like myself, you may be listening for messages. And it also does speak to, being a good listener with people. A lot of people, spend time not really listening to each other, and also not really listening to their inner voice. So that's why meditation is so important. And just to give you a very, very basic meditation technique, what you can do is, after you get yourself seated in a comfortable spinal aligned position, just focus on your breath. And what I like to do is I will inhale for a count of 10, which for some people their lung capacity or their breathing isn't quite there. So, if you need to cut that in half or just do like 4 seconds, that's fine. But try and, if you can, breathe in through your nose. And I'll just give an example here. after inhaling for about 10 seconds, I actually like to hold it for 5 to 15 seconds and then exhale very slowly, also for, maybe about 15 seconds or longer. And the benefit of that is that you're bringing in a lot of oxygen to your body, and when you're exhaling, you're actually stimulating your parasympathetic nervous system, or rather, you're unstimulating it. You're making it relax. So when you're doing a meditation, say you do 20 minutes, and you're breathing deeply the whole time, even if you aren't good at blocking out extraneous thoughts, which I don't recommend trying to force blocking thoughts. You want to let things flow, but if you feel like, maybe your meditation didn't clear your head the way you wanted it to, and you still just breathe the whole time deeply like that, you're going to get a lot of benefit, and you're going to feel more peaceful when you finish. Your blood pressure will probably go down, your oxygen level will go up in your blood. Will create a whole sense of peace and tranquility. So spend a few minutes every day meditating, even if it's just 5 minutes, even if it's 1 minute. Just sit down, take a nice few deep breaths. Now I'll give you that example that I said I would give a minute ago. So just inhale slowly for 5 to 10 seconds. And try and hold the breath down to your belly instead of, lifting up your chest and filling it up here. Try and bring the air down to your belly. And then when you're ready, just exhale out the mouth. And repeat. And just do that for whatever length of time you can do that for, and you'll feel pretty amazing. So that's just one way of helping to quiet the mind. And just wanted to go back again to this card called Listen. And, we live in a time, and you'll hear me say this over and over again in my videos, we live in a time with lots of technology that allows us to communicate anytime, day or night, over vast distances to anyone around the world that, shares a connection, an internet connection. And a lot of times people in their communications don't really listen. A lot of times people are speaking to each other and they're just waiting to say whatever they want to say next, and they're not really hearing what the other person is saying. So one of the things that I do like to do is I go back to that breathing practice that I do during meditation. And if somebody's talking to me, I'll just keep breathing deeply. It's really good if you're talking to somebody who is very emotional or is angry, or maybe in a tense situation. Just keep breathing in slowly through your nose, kind of hold your breath, and exhale slowly out the mouth. And you can do this without the other person really knowing what you're doing. I mean, you're not necessarily being blatantly obvious, like. Oh, okay, that was gross. Sorry. But anyways, so don't do that. Don't spit on them. That wouldn't be very pleasant. But you get the idea. You don't have to be so blatant like that. I probably should edit that out, but this is life and reality, so I will leave that for now. But do that when you talk to people, especially in tense situations, and that should help. And just spend time listening to what the other person is saying, and instead of coming up with what you want to say next, listen, because sometimes what you think the person's going to say or what they mean aren't really what you're getting in the moment if you're not really listening. So spend some time listening, and just be quiet and be still. The other card that I pulled today, and this also can be very beneficial in helping to create balance and peace in your life, is the card for crystals. Now, there are many different kinds of stones out there. Definitely recommend a couple different varieties here. I'll show you. So one of my favorite stones, this one right here, is called selenite, and it's an excellent stone for absorbing negative energy, or basically removing negative or harmful energy from your space. So I like to keep them over by my bed. I've actually got two large ones that are about a foot long hanging above my bed, and one on the nightstand. And this is really good, just, like I said, if you're feeling upset, or if, you're surrounded by a lot of negative people, try and keep one of these on you and keep it in your pocket, or maybe you have a bag that you're carrying, keep it in your bag just to kind of be in that space, to where this can help you out. And another good stone, it's also a variety of selenite, black selenite. Sure there are other names for it as well. But this is really good also at absorbing and deflecting negative energy. And any of these stones that are really dark like this tend to be really good at just absorbing and pulling out things that you don't want and protecting you against harmful energies. So, black selenite here definitely is another recommendation. Excellent, excellent stone for healing and for cleansing. And then, of course, the last stone most of you, I'm sure, are familiar with, just a basic quartz crystal. Quartz is very good during meditation. If you're lying down, maybe you want to place one over your third eye or your heart or anywhere that you feel needs opening. And you can also charge these crystals by, thinking positive thoughts, putting positive intentions into the crystal. Think about, what you want to do with your life. Think about the situations you want to be in, and also, just trying to hold on to peaceful thoughts, and put your energy into the crystal. Just hold it in your hands and just focus on whatever thoughts or feelings you would like to amplify in your daily life, and carry it around with you. Maybe you keep it under your pillow. Maybe you want to manifest more abundance, so perhaps you might write yourself a little something like, I have everything that I need. And maybe you'll put it in an envelope, piece of paper with that written on it, in an envelope with this crystal, and you could hold it under your pillow at night, and just attract that energy of abundance. So lastly, I'm going to touch on the final card I pulled, which was Follow Your Heart. And that ties nicely into what I was just talking about with the crystals, because this crystal that I just showed you, the quartz here, is really excellent for manifestation. And so whatever your heart's desire is, put it into this crystal, and just as I said, hold it in your hand. Visualize whatever desire you would like to happen, and then carry it with you. And it can help to, coalesce the energy, attract more of the energy of abundance that you're looking for in whatever way that you need it. And, if you do all these things, you focus on your breath, focus on, just exhaling and letting go of anything that is not serving you during your meditation, putting positive energy into the crystals. You can have some amazing experiences and create a lot of peace in your life. And lastly, the one thing I wanted to mention was there is an Essene practice, and I believe I talked about it in other videos. It's also similar to some Buddhist practices. There's one called in Buddhism called Vadana, which I'm not very familiar with, so I'm not going to really go too much into that, except to say that it's very similar to what I learned as gatekeeper practice, which is the realization that you are not your thoughts. You are behind your thoughts. You can choose which thoughts you would like to take up space in your beautiful being, and you can choose to hold on to positive thoughts, or you can focus on more negative things. But ideally, you want to focus on abundance and positivity, and acknowledge any areas that you may be suffering. Don't ignore them, but you don't want to focus on them, because focusing on them just attracts more of what you don't want, which I know is a difficult thing if you're struggling, if you're having a hard time emotionally. It can be difficult to not focus on whatever is bothering you at the time. But that's where the meditation comes in, where the deep breathing, focusing on the breath. If your mind is racing and you just can't stop thinking about whatever is going on in your head that's bothering you, just do that meditation practice where you're focusing on your breath. And let your thoughts of worry or anxiety or stress focus instead on breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds. Hold and then exhale and just repeat. And all that being said, just going back again to the Follow Your Heart card, take some time to write down the things that you want to achieve. Write down your feelings. If you're going through anything, putting it into writing is amazing. It's a really great way to let things go without having to, vent all over the place. Which, sometimes you need to vent to friends too, or you need to vent online on Facebook. But if you can, just try and write stuff down in a journal and just release whatever anxieties you have, in addition to doing that meditation practice. So I don't want to, say that this is a cure-all, that everyone's going to feel super amazing, in every circumstance, but this certainly is a great way to help to create more peace with your mind and to create more peace with your interactions with other people, which I will talk more about next month with my subject on the Essene Sevenfold, Peace with the Body. So thank you again for joining me today for my blog on creating peace with the mind. Much love and light to everybody who has joined me today. Please take what you can from this video, and I'd love to hear back from you. Please feel free to share your comments, share your experiences, and if there are any subjects you would like me to talk about in the future, I'm all ears here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Peace, love, food, bliss. May you be filled with peace and light always. Much love.